This one is intense. I read Brain on Fire, My Month of Madness by Susannah Cahalan in 2016. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, and I wrote this. Has anyone ever asked you, what's your most irrational fear? I've always answered schizophrenia. This book interested me for many reasons. The neurological disease in my family, my general mistrust of Western medicine, and my own background as a journalist. But I wasn't prepared for its hammer to hit me right in the frighteners. The idea that some unknown percentage of schizophrenia, autism, or even those psychoses not specified are going misdiagnosed is terrifying to me. Cahalan writes a detailed, intimate, and painful recollection of her story. Yes, I read it in a couple of hours, and I'm usually a slow reader. Yes, I needed to take migraine meds to get through it. I sometimes become engrossed in the digestion of arts and literature in a way that borders on a malady itself. It was the only way for me to do it, though. I also needed to write this review before I went to sleep so that it didn't invade my dreams. This story needs to be shared. Cahalan shows why in the late chapters. There is fantastic science being unearthed that needs to be exposed to everyone, including some of the most prominent folks in our medical community. I rifled through this book, and I will talk about it with everyone. The most important lessons for me from her tale are: get a second or 15th opinion. Trust your gut. Keep searching until the mystery is solved. Don't give up. I'm thankful that I read it. I would have guessed I would have been too afraid to continue. This book was a necessary read for me. It is wild, and it is an experience of deep fear about medicine and the medical industry, and really shows how we struggle to understand what the physical human experience is. I've talked a lot about books here in fiction that are mind benders and that get you to question your belief, question your experience, question your reality. This is an account of a true life experience where reality disappeared for her, and she fought back. And she fought back with a lot of great support from her family, from the people who loved her, and a lot of great support from herself, trusting that she was experiencing something that many people who should potentially know more than her, in the case of medicine, told her that she was wrong. I think this is really key. I think it's a key understanding for us. I think everyone should read it to figure out what they feel and trust about themselves and their health. I mentioned in here, talking about the neurological disease in my family. My mom suffered from multiple sclerosis for 38 years. There's a lot of people that have multiple sclerosis, and we have done amazing things to help treat and understand multiple sclerosis over those 38 years and since she died in 2017. But the reality is, we don't really understand it still. And multiple sclerosis is not the only disease like that. My favorite thing that I write here in this review is to trust your gut. You know yourself better than anyone. We had some problems with my mom with that, though, in that in the middle of her disease, when she would have a massive seizure, she would tell doctors that she was fine, that she was walking before it, and she hadn't walked in 15 years. It's all a bit confusing, work that we're doing for ourselves to understand who we are and to understand what is healthy for us. This book is extremely valuable. It's told by a journalist about how she loses control of her understanding of her mental and physical health, and how she fought back, and how she won her health back. She's got other books now too. This one is extremely intense and extremely affecting. The last book that I read, the book before this, was Lexicon by Max Berry, and we talked a lot about control, the ability of people to control other people. What's interesting here is she came to a point where she lost control of herself. She had to rely on a lot of other people, and I guess the theme continues here when we talk about control and what we understand to be our experience. I think it's interesting that I talk about at the beginning of the review, what's your most irrational fear? And I've always said schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is not in my family at all, but these neurological disorders are. This one is Brain on Fire, My Month of Madness by Susannah Cahalan. I give it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, and I read it in a couple of hours with a migraine. Till next.